Welcome to Department of English, RBNB College, Srirampur. And you are welcomed to watch the video on a poem, a very interesting poem prescribed at FYBA English General paper number 1 for semester 1. The poem we are going to study now. The title of the poem is The Listeners, written by Walter de la Mare. So the poem, The Listeners, see the title. It is not listener, listeners, the plural. We are going to make a comment on it. The poem is published in 1912. And the poet, the period of the poet is that he was born in 1873 and was passed away in 1956. In short, we can say that he is a modern poet. So whenever we read any kind of genre, we must be aware of the social, economical, political background of the age. And you will notice this thing, that how it is important at the end of the poem. Okay, now here is a lesson plan for you, in which way we are going to study this poem. First of all, about the poet. The second one is the explanation of the poem. The third one is the analysis of the poem. And the fourth one is, that is the conclusion. So this is our structure on which we will study the poem. So I come to the first point, that is introduction or the life history, in short we can say, about the poet. First of all, this is a very famous poet in English literature. He is especially famous for his poetry, his horror short stories, his novels. Again we can say that he is a versatile genius. He is usually remembered as a works for children. Means number of his poems he has written especially for the children, the youngsters. And his most famous poem, which is known as The Listeners, which is for your study, and we are going to study it now. His father was an administrator and administrator of the Bank of England, and his mother was interconnected with the famous, you can say, romantic poet Robert Browning. So there was the impact of his parents on a poet, and it is clearly reflected in his work. So in this poem, he used certain supernatural elements with the lonely, we can say, traveler. So here, if the title is The Listeners, it means somebody is the speaker. And who is the speaker? We'll have to study in this poem. Now here the first part of the upper poem ends. And now we are going to study the interesting poem, which is a very famous narrative, we can say. So first of all, let me make it clear that the poem has got third person narration. Means the poet or somebody else is telling us the story of the listeners. Actually, the traveler is described here, and his travel on the horseback, and he goes in the jungle, which is forest or wood, which is very, very thick. That means there are number of trees here and there. It is known as thick forest. It is a dark forest, we can say. And in this dark forest, there is one house, maybe bungalow, maybe house, maybe a huge building, you say. But it was lonely. First of all, the people usually prefers to live in the city life. But here, the house is built in the jungle, in the forest, in the wood. So why it is built? Again, there is a question mark. But when we study the poem, we find that it's a deserted house. And what is deserted house? That nobody is living there. No human being is living there. Then who built it? For what purpose it is built? The question remains unanswered in the poem. So I say that the poem is a mysterious one. Even from the beginning of the poem to end of the poem, there are number of questions arises in the reader's mind. So that is why I say it is a mysterious poem. So now the traveler rides on his horse and reached at this deserted place because he wants to meet somebody who he thinks that the person or persons to whom he is going to meet are or is living there in the deserted house. So he went there, he reached there, and he comes down from his horse, and he knocked the door. Knock, making sound, because there is no electricity bell, and that is why knocking at the door. And he asked certain questions, and the poem begins with this question. And what is that question that he asks? Is there anybody there? Said the traveler. The first line is like this. Is there anybody? Is there anybody there? Said the traveler, knocking on the moonlit door. So here, moonlit door. So moonlit is used as an adjective which describes the door. And this word, moonlit, indicates that is the light of the moon. The rays of the moon falls on this door. It means this is a time of night. It indicates, first of all, see, this is a forest, it is a lonely house, and it is a night. Okay, now how the setting of this narrative, the setting of this poem is a mysterious one, it is a horrible one. These words will tell you how it is horrible atmosphere is there. So he knocks on the door, and in the third line the poet says, and his horse in silence. Now the traveler is knocking, making sound, but what his horse is doing? His horse is silent, champed the grasses. Champ, this is the chewing sound. When the horse chew the grass, it makes sound. But the horse is silent. He is a passive. But he also makes certain sounds. At the time of night, first of all, there are two sounds are described by the poet. The first sound is the sound of making or knocking the door, and the second sound is that the horse is a champ the grasses. The fourth line he says, whether the horse is champing, of the forest fairy flower. Fairy flower. So what is this fairy? This is a kind of plant, or we can say grass. Generally has no flowers. It is only for made for the animals. In short, we can say that the horse was grazing because it has no connection with that his owner or the traveler. Okay, so traveler is doing his work, and the horse, when the horse becomes free, he starts grazing, because for the first time, he gets different types of grasses, because it is a land of forest, and so the horse is busy in we can say grazing. And the next line says, suddenly what happens, you see. First of all, the traveler knocks at the door, that deserted house. The horse is grazing, is not interested with his owner, and the owner, that is the traveler, doesn't have to make any with his horse. And the third thing takes place here. What happens? Suddenly, the poet says, and a bird flew up out of the torrent. And what is this torrent? Torrent means tower of that house. It indicates what kind of this house is. What is the structure of this house? That it may be a big, we can say, a very huge bungalow. It may be the palace like this, because there is the tower is there. Especially in England, every house has a tower. Especially it is useful for them to in the winter season. Perhaps you have heard the poem, that is the Chimney Sweepers, okay, by William Blake. So in that poem, how the importance of tower is described. Okay, leave it. Now here what happens? He knocks the door, the horse is grazing, and suddenly, I say suddenly a bird flew over the traveler's head. Now see how it is horrible picture. It creates horror in the poem, the terrible atmosphere in the poem. Why? Because it is night, it is forest, the deserted house, the traveler is knocking on the door, only his companion, we can say, the horse is grazing, and suddenly the bird from the tower or terrain just fly over the traveler's head. Now it creates horror. You might have seen such a kind of horror. That means it indicates that the house is unused for number of days. It also clarifies you in the latter part of the of this poem. But this is the indication that at the time of night the bird is flying, maybe a bat, we can say, and it creates. Suddenly we realize that no human being is living here. Maybe the spirit is living here. Maybe the ghost living here. So the suspense is created at the beginning of the poem, and then the poet says, and he. Now here in the poem, whenever there is a reference of he, his, him, it means the traveler. And whenever the reference is they, theirs, means listener. Means you see, there are two worlds are described. That is the listener's world and the speaker's world. And who is the speaker? the speaker is a human being, he is a traveler, he came on a horse, okay. But we don't know anything about the listeners, because when the poem progresses, then and then only we understand that the listeners are not human beings, not human creatures. They are the spirits, they are the ghosts, and not one ghost, not one spirit, because the title is listeners, yes, is added. It means the plural of listener. So naturally, there may be more than one ghost, more than one spirit is living there. So here the poet says, and he smote. S-M-O-T-E. Smote means struck with force. First of all, he knocks the door very silently, because the traveler would not like to disturb the atmosphere. So silently he knocks the door. But now it is the second time he smote the door with force, we can say. He make the sound on the door. He knock on the door forcefully, we can say, with force upon the door against the second time. The poet says, this is the second time he is knocking the door, but the knocking is different from the first one. Now he forcefully, we can say, knock. And when we generally knock the door, when we ring the bell, that means we want to meet somebody who is the owner of that house. Okay. And here the traveler would like to meet the inhabitants, or we can say the owners of that house. Okay. That is why he knocks the door. But when he gets no response from the other side, we say, so again he knocks the door. So sometimes we press the button of the bell. If we don't get the response, we again press the button of that bell. Sometimes loudly even, or we call loudly. In the same way, he knocks with force for the second time and asks the same question. That is, the first line and the 8th line of this poem remains the same, and he asks the same question. Is there anybody there? He asked the question, but still he never get any kind of response from the house. Then the poet says, but no one descended. Descended means come down. Nobody descended to the traveler. Now it is the traveler or the poet would like to explain that the building may be 2-story building, and so the poet says nobody came down, because the front gate, the opening gate of the house is at the, we can say, ground floor. So somebody knocks, and might be the spirits or ghosts or men, because still we are unaware of it. They might be living on the upstairs. So the next line is that nobody is descended. Nobody came down to the traveler. It means nobody gives the response. Neither there is any movement. Nobody came down to open the door. And in the next line, the poet says, no head from leaf fringed. What is this? Is a new word for you. Leaf fringed. L-A-F. The tree has leaves. Or we can, leaves is the plural of leaf, single leaf and flower. Okay, there may be the creepers. Okay, there may be creepers because it is unused house. So abnormal atmosphere is created here. That when the house is not used for number of days or unused house, there may be the creepers. Okay, there may be the wild trees will grow up. The trees will, the creepers will cover the house or climb on the wall. In the same way, here the poet says, when the traveler knocks forcefully for the second time but didn't get answer, neither somebody or nobody come down to open the door. And it is expected, the traveler also expects these things. And he says that nobody, no head means no creature or no head from the leaf fringed, covered with the leaves, sill, S-I-L-L. Sill means the bottom of the window. In short, we can say, suppose this is a window and due to the house is unused for number of days, there may be the creepers which cover the window. And so the poet used that the window is leaf fringed window. Or in the next line, the poet says, nobody leaned or nobody bent over and looked into his grey eyes. Again, his means the travelers. Indirectly, the poet would like to say that nobody gave the response. Nobody peeped through the window that who is knocking the door. Nobody is interested here. And then the next, the poet says or describes or depicts the traveler. Because for the second time he knocked the door and nobody gives the answer. So naturally he is confused. Naturally he is puzzled. I'm knocking again and again and nobody gives the response. What happened? What happened with the who are living inside? Maybe something wrong happened with them. So number of questions came in his mind. So that is why he was confused. He was stand still. Stand still means stand in one position. There is no movement. Okay, so the traveler is stand still, and he was confused. He was puzzled. What happened? So the poet say, "Where he stood perplexed." What is perplexed? Surprised, confused. Okay, or puzzled and still. S-T-I-L-L. That means nobody makes any movement. That is why our traveler, the speaker, because other are listeners and he is the speaker. Now he asked them two questions. Naturally he is the speaker. And so he stands still without making any movement. He stand alone. Now how the picture, how the atmosphere is going to more and more horrible. The next line of the poem indicates here or makes it clear that why this happened. Who are the owners of this house? Who are living inside the this deserted house? It is clear in the next line. And the poet says, but only a host, H-O-S-T. So here, the host has got two meanings. The first is, host means more than one. And the second meaning is opposite to guest. Host, guest. Now naturally, they are living in the house, so they are host. And the second meaning indicates, because this host is directly related to the listeners. Might be the poet is going to say that there is the crowd of phantom. And what is phantom? That is the spirit of human being, or we can say a ghost. In Marathi we called it bhoot rahane, bhoot. So might be the ghosts are living there. So they are only listening. They are not interested to give response to the speaker. And the poet says that dwelt, D-W-E-L-T. What is dwelt? Dwelt means lived. The ghost dwelt there in the lone house. What is lone house? Lonely house. It means, you see, how it is a deserted house, unused house. It is a lonely house. It is a time of night. Nobody is giving them company, and nobody gives the response. So what a horrible picture it is. It is, we can say, the readers is afraid to read the poem, that something wrong is going to happen in this poem. Okay, so to that wise, nobody gives a response. The poet says, stood listening to the quiet of the moonlight. Only the listeners are listening whatever the question asked by the speaker in the moonlight only. Means they never utter a single word. And the poet says, they are listening the voice. Whose voice? The voice from the world of men, M-E-N. From the world of men means world of human being. Now it is clear when he says world from human being, that means the listeners are not human being. Okay, it is clear now. So the ghost, then the phantom word also indicates that the human beings are not living in the house. On the contrary, the ghosts are living there. Next, the poet says, stood throwing. That means crowding the moonbeams of the dark stair. That is the moonlight, the rays of the moon, the light of the moon comes through the window and it is on. We can say there is a stair. Stair means step, because they are living at the upper room. When they want to come down, there are certain steps or ladder, or we can say this stair. Okay, so the light, there is a light of moonbeams or rays of the moon on that stair, and that goes down the empty hall. Again, at the ground floor, we can say there is empty hall. There is a very huge hall, but that hall is empty. Nobody is there. All the ghosts, they are living on the maybe first floor, maybe second floor, and they came back. They came down and they stood at the stair, at the steps, near to that empty hall, and they are hearkening. What is hearkening? Hearkening means listening. They are hearkening in the air, stirred and shaken. When they heard the voice of the human being, they started to, we can say, stir or move. They are shaken. So this is because they think that somebody disturbed their silence. Okay, and by the lonely traveler's call, the silence is disturbed by the lonely traveler's call. And then the poet says, and he means again the traveler, he felt in his heart of strangeness. And the traveler understands the feelings of the ghost, their stillness answering his cry. And the traveler thinks that they never respond. Sometimes the silence Silence answers extra than the word. And the traveler feels it that they would like to say me something. Only he can understand it. While his horse moved, cropping, grazing, and the dark stuff, and neath means beneath the starred leafy sky. So it is the time of night. Everywhere it is very hard to see the sky because it is a thick forest. That is why how the picture is horrified, you see. And the picture of the horse is also described. Next, the poet says, for he suddenly smote means strikes out heavily on the blow of the door again, and even louder, and lifted his head. Now, this time, this is the third time, he knocked down the door. He strike the door with a heavy blow, and he starts to look, we can say, ahead, louder, and lifted his head. And he says, tell them I came. To whom tell? We don't know. But the traveler says, and tell them I came. And no one answered that I kept my word, he said. And he says, I kept my promise. I never fail. I kept my promise. Tell them. That I kept my promise. I came here because I would like to. I have given a word for you, and that is why the next the poet says, the spokes, that whenever he speaks, there is the echo of his sound. Again, the picture is horrified again, and at the last part of the poem, the listeners just understand the footprints of the stirrup. What is stirrup? On the horseback, you generally see the metal kind of rings where generally the traveler puts his leg. Okay, that sound of the saddle, we can say, sound of the saddle they heard. They heard the footprints of the horse. And they were sure that the traveler goes away from their house. And again, there is the silence. So in this way, here the poem ends, which creates number of questions in the reader's mind. So first of all, as far as the theme, now I come to the last part, that is the conclusion. The title of the poem is apt, appropriate, and suitable, because the total, we can say, the theme moves around it. The listeners are passive while the speaker is active one. He knocks the rise door for the 3 times. The poem has got solo stanza, means there are no stanza, solo stanzas of 36 lines. And A, B, C, B is the rhyme scheme of this poem. The third person narration is used. Isolation and solitude are the themes of the poem. The poem has got mysterious setting, that is a jungle, haunted moonlight, deserted house, like this. And which we can say that it is a horror narrative poem. And here the supernaturalism is also used in the poem. And when we can say when the poem is over, the reader is in the pensive mood. He starts to thinking, and the listeners are here unidentified till the end, because they never speak a single word. And it creates again number of questions in our mind, that why this man goes there, why they never opened the door, why they only listened. If they are familiar, that is when he says, I kept my promise, that means he is a frequently visitor of the house. So why they not open the door? Number of questions comes in his mind. and different critics can be analyze this poem in a different way. But whatever I think, that the speaker may be the social reformer, or we can say philosopher, and listeners are the common people of the modern age, the contemporary age. How the people are self-centered, they never think of the others, okay, and they are living in their own, we can say, boundary, may be the meaning of this poem. So the meaning of this poem I keep with the left to you people, okay. I hope that you like this video. Thank you to spare time with me. Thanks once again.